Simian Spirit Guide is gone. The decks are either aggro or tempo is what we've been seeing. Does that mean that establishing a lock is just that much harder without that Simian Spirit Guide and Chalice? A later Chalice can be beneficial, but let's look at the bigger picture. If we can't create a lock, does that mean Karn needs to be sidelined? We're going to take a look at Chandra Prison here. It's still a prison strategy and has the prison elements into it. However, we have a 100% pivot sideboard because I'm quite frankly tired of dying to this tempo control stuff that we're seeing. This is Chandra's Red Prison with a pivot to something like Punisher. Here is the list in front of you. You'll notice it's very similar to our typical Chandra prison strategy. We've cut Simian Spirit Guide and we've actually cut rituals. We've added things like Mind Stone in here. We've also changed up a little bit of what we're doing here with lightning bolts available now. Having not as frequent as possible chalices on one doesn't mean that chalice is bad, but means we need something to do on turn one. Now, there are a lot of comments floating around about maybe a goblin prison, and we'll explore that. Don't worry. I wanted to try a few things before exploring what others have created. What interested me the most, though, in this list is the frustrating thing over the last several leagues that I'm not fast enough. Now, Red Prison tries to establish a lock, but if we're not able to establish that lock fast enough, we get very far behind. And Simian Spirit Guide, though slowing the meta, doesn't allow us time to establish the lock with, say, Blood Moon, Bridge, or Chalice. Now we'll get to those, but we need to hold on in the early game. This is why we're bringing in interaction of lightning bolts, and you'll pretty much have probably noticed our sideboard is aggro like crazy. Our actual strategy is if we find anything that is, say, control, tempo, mid-range, or something a little bit too big, we're bringing 14 cards in. It'll be Rabble Masters. We'll be bringing in Eidolons. We'll even bring in Swift Spear, something that is not seen typically in prison strategies, not even in Punisher. The things that we'll end up taking out are all 5 Chandras that are not Torch of Defiance, all 4 Chandras that are Torch of Defiance. We'll end up taking out the Chalices of the Void as well. If you're keeping track, that's 4, 5, that makes 9, 10, 11, 12. And we'll actually change the Angers out for Slag Storms because they hit our opponent. Yes, I'm planning to swap out 14 cards. And yes, that's how we built it. Chandra, Tribal, Red Prison, pivoting with something that looks like Punisher or Burn, or just something very aggressive. Perhaps 2 lists in one? Maybe. It's the new fake out Red Prison strategy. Let's take it into a league and let's see how we do. Chandra Tribal, fast as it may be, an instant opponent. It's gonna be a fast league. Let's begin. Instantaneous. Woo! Let's go. Now this will be interesting how this all works out. We did cut 1 regulator as well for those keeping track of what their Chandra Prison looks like. I like this opening hand. It has a Chalice, which is a good nod to, hey, we're still prison. We have a Mind Stone to ramp, and we have a Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's see how this works out for us. Our ritual effects, or Mind Stones, stay on the battlefield and are quite sticky versus the old versions. Marsh Flats for our opponent. Let's begin fetching. Overgrown Tomb. It appears it may be Jund. Turn 1, ooh, Noble Hierarch. Okay. Well, we don't have a turn 1 play, but this is a perfect example of where that bolt might be useful. Although a Chalice on 1 also looks like it may be useful here as well. We do blank 4 cards by playing a Chalice on 1. We may consider this Mind Stone because we have the Blast Zone, which we can use for 1-drops as well. My opponent appears to be Abzan. Nice. Voice of Resurgence here as well. We've got an 0-1 Noble, 2-2 Voice. These Angers that I have look good. Opponent attacks. We might just be working our way up to Mind Stone. Mind Stone into perhaps Chandra Heart of Fire after we dump both Chalices to Seasoned Pyromancer. We have so many options here. Mind Stone played. Let's see what else our opponent's got going on here. Top deck Anger would be crazy. Scavenging Ooze. Okay. Land. Okay. And in for 3. Okay. Sounds good to me. Blast Zone on 2 looks tempting, although we have our Mind Stone. I think we just need to work our way up here to a... Let's just work our way up to a Chandra Heart of Fire here. Create a few blockers here. Just slow the game down with all this damage we're receiving. We have an Abrade now and a Mind Stone. These look great. Could play Mind Stone plus Abrade, get rid of Scavenging Ooze before we lose Seasoned Pyromancer. Maybe my opponent's going to path me. Things are coming together nicely. We can also Chandra here, shoot the Scavenging Ooze. Pretty happy. We are expecting them to be Abzan, but we do have blue here. Let's be mindful that my opponent's got blue. They may just be foregoing the black option of, say, a Birds of Paradise here, though. In for 3, we'll chump block. No real reason to worry about getting rid of this Voice of Resurgence just yet. Chump blocking and saving some blockers for Chandra Heart of Fire is on our menu right now. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are at. I think a Bolt would make me go Mind Stone, Abrade, Bolt, but if no Bolt, I think Chandra Heart of Fire is looking pretty good. Not to mention it's a good digging card and some other nuances here with the Mind Stones also being draws. We're flooding out just a little bit. I think it's time to represent a Blast Zone towards them. We could do that. I think this is definitely a Chandra Heart of Fire turn. Chandra Heart of Fire shoots Scavenging Ooze, keep 2 blockers. That feels good. Let's see, if we did a Mind Stone here, we'd have 3/4 mana. We could then Blast Zone the Noble. I don't think we want to do that. Let's go ahead and play Mountain here and just play a Chandra Heart of Fire, planning to shoot something for 2. Who knows? They've got a lot of mana open. We could have a Collected Company and a Spell Queller randomly showing up. No such things, though. Let's kill the Skoos and pass the turn. Look at this. This is excellent. I like where we're at. Even top decking, say, a bridge here is looking pretty good against my creature-heavy opponent. I assume they are going to attack here. Attacking Chandra. I think I'm going to still block with Elemental here, only because if they have Skoos, they could double eat it, and then Chandra or Abrade don't single-handedly remove it. Both would have to be used together. Oh. We have the God of Death here. That's a pretty big threat. All right, so we have the God of Threat here. We do have an emblem that actually somewhat matters here. We could cantrip a Mind Stone. We can Abrade something. So this is only going to live for like what appears to be a turn. Let's think here. I almost wanted to shoot this and then Abrade it as well here for this turn. Maybe play our Mind Stone. We could also potentially Blast Zone. So I like this. I like a... Let's do a Mind Stone here. I think we go ahead and also Abrade. And let's play a Blast Zone here. I'm planning to potentially cantrip the Mind Stone. We'll leave our Seasoned Pyromancer back on blocking defense here. If my opponent has, for example, a path, they get to path and attack us. God of Death here gets to eat a few things in their graveyard. So they do. They have a fetch land, so God of Death is going to be staying around for a little bit. Opponent attacks will definitely block. We're going to get to draw a whole ton here as well with the Chandra. We'll see if they play anything on 2 that I would prefer to Blast Zone. Fetch land and nothing else. All right. So let's play a land and just uptick. Probably okay to do so. Let's just uptick, see what else we get here. Playing the Ramunot Ruins because it's a land that I prefer to activate later. We have a Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and an Anger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. I could attempt this. Let's go ahead and play Chandra. The Chandra resolves. Let's see if we can resolve a Anger of the Gods. If we do, we clear Noble, and we downtick here with this Chandra. Kill the God. That's exiled as well. Looking good. Good start for us. We have an active Chandra that's at 8. Could bolt my opponent for a lot. Got this Chandra as well. We have a bunch of bolts and a Slag Storm. We can find enough mana to do all of that. That'd be kind of cool. Knight, the Reliquary here, makes an appearance. I think I'm going to prefer to play my land so that we have as much mana as possible. Let's start with a Chandra Heart of Fire activation. We have a new Chandra, we have a Lightning Bolt, and we have a Chalice. I mean, we've got it all. My opponent has a fetch land, so let's just be mindful of that. Let's make mana first. Let's go ahead and do it like this. Chandra. Keep new Chandra. Attempt to shoot Knight of Reliquary. They might fetch here. If they do, I bolt as well. And I don't want to put the Chalice on 1 for sure. I think I'm going to Emblem with this Chandra. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. We never get this value because we're not playing things like Bolt typically. Do I want this Chalice? I suppose I could put it on 0. Why not? Why not? Look at this. We got a Death Grip on our opponent. Ran into the creature matchup and it's rewarding us. Oh. We have a squirrel. We have a squirrel. All right. Do I have the Slag Storm? I have the Slag Storms in the sideboard. So I can do 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 damage here. Oh, we have the bridge as well. Search your graveyard and library for any number of red instants. We have all the bolts. Let's go get that. And let's chuck them for some damage. We're going to get Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. We'll pick up an Anger as well here. Seems reasonable. We make a whole bunch of mana. We can Anger. Let's do the Anger for fun. Indestructible is a thing. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. And uptick with Chandra. We might have done a little bit of damage there. Chandra Emblem with no Chalice on 1 and bolts in the deck ends up resulting in a solid and hefty 12 damage. I like it. Working out really nicely. All right, so we have a creature matchup. We don't want to bring in our creatures, but we do have a few things like Slag Storms and let's sort this by converted mana cost. Slag Storms and this Abrade. So these 3 things look interesting to me. We don't have too much I want to take out. Maybe a Regulator for something like an Abrade, just an extra removal spell. I could see us not caring about Chalice and getting rid of a few of those for Slagstorm because we want to be using our bolts. With all of this, maybe we take the Chalice out and actually just do Chandra Regulator instead. Abrade Slagstorms in for the Chalices and just use heavy removal, few bridges to defend. They never saw a bridge, and top deck our Planeswalkers for the victory. Let's give it a shot. If we feel like we have to be more aggressive and more greedy in game 3, if it comes to that, we'll bring in some of these creatures. But I think our top-end Planeswalkers are going to be very brutal to our opponent. We do know they're a Knight of Reliquary list, and we do not have any graveyard hate. That's by design. I'm ignoring the graveyard. Here we go. All right, we're up a game against Benny. Poor Benny. One landers. Probably shouldn't keep one landers. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. We have much better hands. We don't need two Chandras. We don't need the big Chandra here. Mulligan away. All right. This seems reasonable. I've got two Abrades, a Slagstorm, and a Seasoned Pyromancer. Tempted to go ahead and get rid of the Blood Moon, although my opponent did fetch in a way that Blood Moon would impact them. I could theoretically get rid of the Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's keep. Let's get rid of Seasoned Pyromancer and just beat removal.deck. Windswept Teeth. We'll see if they fetch basic. They do not. We do hit our land. Things are already looking really good for us. Go ahead, opponent. They were Abzan in colors here. Maybe they need to stay on Abzan in colors. Marsh flats for my opponent. It is time to find lands. Maybe we'll find basics here. Snow-covered forest, followed by plains. Followed by swamp. All right, a scavenging ooze. All right, lightning bolt's a little late to the party, but we're good. Plenty of removal. Going to work at my opponent's turn. I think here I'm going to go ahead and just abrade this and then worry about maybe lightning bolt, abrade something else next turn. We can also just Blood Moon unless they find a basic here. I might Blood Moon anyway if the threat's not that frightening. And it's a basic. All snow basics. We have a 4/4 Anafenza the Foremost. All right, this turn, I'm just going to play Blood Moon. Theory is that I'm going to probably have to Slagstorm plus something here. And so let's get the Blood Moon out here just to make things a little awkward for them from time to time. Kitchen Finks is an excellent find for them. Taxes for 4. Okay, there's a Blast Zone. We're going to put the Blast Zone into play. That actually puts it on 0 in the off chance they get rid of this card. I'm not so sure I want to be taking so much from them here. I think we'll just unfortunately Slagstorm. And we will also Lightning Bolt Anafenza here. Persisting back, they get a 2/1 here. Not the scariest. Kitchen Finks. We're doing okay thus far. There's a Voice of Resurgence. That would have been really nice to have with our Slagstorm, but we do have a couple Angers as well, bundled up somewhere. All right, let's do a Chandra here. I like the idea of maybe using this to use an Abrade and kill Kitchen Finks. We'll pass the turn. All right, we're going to use this Chandra here to hopefully get some value, maybe find some ways to deal with Voice, maybe find a way to deal with Tireless Tracker, who knows. If we're nervous and they attack here, maybe I downtick on the Tracker because it's a little bit frightening. It's tough to say now that I've just gotten a Mountain. Mountain's not that interesting. Do we trust the list to find me a way to get rid of one of these? I have a lot of ways to do it. Let's trust. Up we go. Oh, we found a Mountain. That's not good. At least it's one more Mountain I have to not draw later. Opponent draws with Tireless Tracker, making it a 4/3. That itself can attack Chandra. And we have the Voice of Resurgence that can attack us. Still within bolt range. And Abrade. And Anger. At this point, I would not play anything. They do play Bird of Paradise, though. We hit another Mountain. I'm going to pass the turn holding this Mountain, make it look like I have something at instant speed. My opponent will probably just ignore it because they have Voice, but sometimes it's nice to play with our opponent's minds. We're doing okay here. We're about to take 6. We'd be taking a bit less if I cashed in Chandra, but then we would have drawn the mountain into this mountain. Opponent attacks for 6. We do need a way to interact with something here. An anger would be the best one. And we hit flooding lands. No dice. Chandra Awakened would be okay, except these are elementals. Except for that small flaw. All right. Do we want to be more aggressive? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's fine to go with what we have here. Just got a bit unlucky. Flooded out a little bit. We do have 23 lands, and we've upped that because we're lacking those ritual effects. So we are going to run into those problems at times. Ooh, all right, let's keep this one. A little bit awkward with double gemstone here, but we have a Mind Stone, and we do have 2 Chandras. We have a lot of red pip cards, and if we do fail in finding those, we can always put a bridge into play. Opening hand does seem feasible to beat down our opponent. Let's see if they keep or not. And they do keep. Excellent. All right. Let's get things going here, opponent. I would love to find myself another mountain. Temple Garden for my opponent, followed by Noble Hierarch. We find ourselves an extra bridge. We'll have to worry about that in a little bit. Using the Mind Stone here, we play that into play and pass the turn. As a Verdant Catacombs, I could see this fetching for a basic swamp if they think that is the most important color for them. We will see. We will see. Basic forest here. We got like what, Knight of Reliquary or something? Plays a Skyclave Apparition. It's really good actually. It takes my Mind Stone away. Okay, we do hit here. I have the ability to get this Chandra down. That's kind of an interesting Chandra to play. I'm going to go ahead and just play bridge though instead and pass turn. Now there is no way that I can get a Chandra Torch of Defiance down and then ramp into a Chandra Acolyte of Flame. However, playing back-to-back bridges may just be enough. We'll see. My opponent attacks here for 3. We'll see if they want to pass the turn back to us. Temple Garden is played in. They do shock this in. It looks like my opponent has what appears to be a Collected Company. Let's play Chandra Acolyte of Flame here and just uptick past turn. I'm thinking about doing this because I could then Chandra downtick and then pump this up with this Acolyte of Flame. If my opponent thinks the Acolyte of Flame is scary enough, then maybe they'll go after it. This Collected Company, that's probably going to show up and does so. I'm really afraid of them getting another Skyclave here and just hitting my Chandra. This would be the better target for them. They may also go after Bridge. The next turn when we get to play Chandra, we might get to actually stop, say, one of the Skyclaves they may have and get a token that could block the Exalted creature. My opponent does find a Knight of Autumn, so that's one way to get rid of Bridge. And we're going to be losing Chandra Acolyte of Flame this coming turn. Shocks him with a Godless Shrine. Feeling nervous about game 3 here. I've pretty much all my bridges. I just happen to have one more Gemstone Caverns, which is not what I want. Hoping that the Chandra Acolyte of Flame takes a good 5 damage or so. Maybe even 6 if they use Tireless Tracker with their clue. Plays the Squirrel. So whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, they get to draw a card. The Squirrel is going to get them a lot of cards here. I could see them just flat out ignoring this and drawing as many cards as possible. And they do. They're going to draw 3 here. We're going to take 5, 6, 7. That's going to put us down to 10. A lot of people are starting to play the Squirrel of Secrets. This has been out for not too long. All right, we run into another Chandra here. Not ideal, not ideal. We can play a Bridge. If I play this Bridge, I'm really not getting very far here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I'll play the Gemstone Caverns here and uptick with this Chandra. If this Chandra was an Anger, this game would be totally different, but it wasn't. Something to note. Looks like they're going to just connect with just about everything here. I don't see a way I'm getting out of this, even if I were to get the bridge down. Basically, what I need here is an Anger of the Gods. I need it now. And I need an Anger of the Gods, and then I have to somehow empty my hand before this kills me, which, being at 2, I don't see it happening. My opponent has 10 cards in their hand as well. Unlikely we get through this. They just go straight to cleanup phase, leaving everything up at instant speed. Looks like our opponent's got us here. And Abzan, interesting list here. Sporting the Squirrel. Looks like it'll take us down here. Game number 1. And it will. We'll concede. Chandra, Heart of Fire doesn't do it. We play the bridge, that's all we get, and they attack us underneath. Well, Chandra Tribal gets taken down by the creatures. Let's go to match number 2. Let's see if we can rectify this. A bumpy start. And most of my leagues right now are starting bumpy. For whatever reason, I'm having trouble at times winning the first match. Why? I don't know. Because we usually win game 1 and then struggle to clean up games 2 and game 3. Is that because my opponents are able to play around our softer locks here and our non-quick locks? I don't know yet. I'm getting beaten down actually more frequently by creatures, which is just making me want extra Anger of the Gods, removal, and so on and so forth. And that's actually why we're at this conclusion here with the lightning bolts and the Chandras. I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to keep playing. We're going to keep gathering data. And we're going to find that build that works best for Red Prism. Match 2 coming up here. Let's find that opponent. And let's play some Magic. This build could benefit, by the way. Multiple sweepers. You might want to bring the Slagstorms main decked and then just get rid of Acolyte and play the top end Chandras. It is 7 Chandras after all. 9 with these. Something to think about. Opponent has been found. Let's go. We get to play first. I like that. I like this opening hand. Let's keep. We got a Chalice on turn 2. Maze Mines. Some removal pieces. Remember, initially we're not very aggressive. We're more sit back, lock them out, and stop them from attacking us. Let's see what happens. Mountain and go, opponent. What do you have for us? Ooh. Shelldock Isle. This is more than likely mill. So Chalice on 1 is actually decent against them. Let's go ahead and play that down and pass the turn. Attempting to play Mountain. You got it, opponent. Pretty sure you can't do anything on my draw step. Whew. Alright. Good place for Chalice on 1. Yes, not on the first turn. However, on the second turn, probably going to do enough here. We have an Abrade for those pesky Mesmeric Orbs. We have a Maze Mine Tome that's going to help us filter our library and try to find the pieces we need. Here comes the Orb. Nope, Talisman. We have an Urborg, Shelldock, and a Talisman. Maybe they are not what we think they are. Alright, I could Abrade this. I'm going to play Maze Mine Tome here because we've missed a land drop. We definitely would like to hit our land drop. So we'll play Maze Mine Tome, see what else my opponent's doing here. Shelldock with Talisman is definitely interesting. Opponent's attempting a Serum Visions, countered by Chalice. Gemstone Mine. This is starting to look like Ad Nauseam now. Thassa's Oracle definitely makes it feel like Ad Nauseam. Okay. At least the newer versions of Ad Nauseam. Let's go ahead and take a scry here. If I find a land, we're good. We don't. Let's stop on our upkeep to find that land. Scry again. Seasoned Pyromancer bottom as well. Top deck is 8. We did find the land. All right. Let's go ahead. Oops. Let's go ahead and destroy the Talisman. My opponent has a little too much mana here. Need to notch that back one. We'll do our scrying again, see if we can get a Chandra down. I will take a Blood Moon at this point. Blood Moon's looking really strong at the moment. What else do you have for us? Clear water pathway. Man, Blood Moon is really strong here. This is a good example where Blood Moon doesn't really have to come down on turn 1. It needs to come down on turn like 3 and it'll be completely fine. What you gonna do, opponent? You gotta deal with this chalice. I'm sure that's messing you up right now. Goes to combat, attacks us for 1, 19 to 19. Main phase 2. Any actions? They do have an action. Uses gemstone here. And plays an inverter of truth. Ooh, okay. I don't know how I feel about that. So we need something that gets rid of some of this blue. Definitely want to find a Blood Moon. We'll scry. We do not find a Blood Moon there. Let's go ahead and bottom and see if we can spike a Blood Moon here. We do not. We do get a Scavenger Grounds, though. We'll play that out. Play Chandra here as a distraction. Uptick for damage. And pass turn. We go over a mountain. Okay. Well, if they have a Thassa's Oracle in hand, they're good. I think this Shelldock also can work. And there you go. Opponent's got it. We have an Inverter of Truth list. All right. Let's go sideboard. This is interesting. I don't have a whole lot for this. I think our best bet here is actually to go aggressive, but also maintain maybe chalices and get rid of instead bridges. Let's go ahead and start bringing in this stuff. So this. Let's get rid of bridge completely. Let's get rid of Chandra Acolyte completely. Convert angers to slag storms. And I think we're good. The regulator's a little awkward now. I guess I could be an extra anger. I could keep a Chandra. Let's keep an Acolyte though. Where's our Acolytes? Where'd they go? There they are. We'll take a regulator out and keep a Acolyte because it is creatures. All right. We have this. Blood Moon could definitely come down here. Inverter of Truth though. Don't have much else then to be aggressive. We'll keep. We'll keep. Looks good. Gonna do the Blood Moon things. Can't complain with this opening hand. Let's get rid of our stop here. And go ahead, opponent. I could see myself leading with Eidolon here. Ooh, a Plains. Nice. Now that I have 2 Eidolons, let's go. Eidolon number 1. This is our aggressive side. We probably want to play Blood Moon next. Double islands here. Or double plains here. And we have a talisman and we're Serum Visioning. I might just want to slam second Eidolon and try to beat him that way. Maybe I just do that. I don't know. This gives them the black. Maybe I just shut the black off here because they have inverters. Let's just do that. Destroy this artifact, smack them for 2. Maybe they need to go looking deeper here. We could have done that with Mind Stone. Small misplay by us. Let's see if it hurts us going forward. It may, because I can't play both Blood Moon and Eidolon. There's an Urborg. We have a new talisman. Okay. This is a pretty easy Blood Moon turn. Let's go ahead and play down a Mind Stone. Follow that with a Blood Moon and attack them for 2. So we keep Inverter off briefly here. We'll attack for 2, puts them to 9. Yeah, we should have had a second Eidolon here. Opponent plays a City of Brass and moves to our turn. Play our gemstone. Let's go ahead and cycle a Mind Stone. See what else I draw. Maybe I can draw a Rabble Master, although I think maybe Eidolon's just still the better play. Find a Swift Spear. Talk about being aggressive. Play our Eidolon as well. And hit them for a solid 3 damage. Looking good. We are at 10. Down to 6. We are currently presenting lethal. Or close to it. Shelldock played for my opponent. This will deal damage to them. So it's technically lethal if they use the talisman. And they do concede. Our aggressive strategy here pays off. All right. Let's send it back. Send it back. Send it back. Okay, turn 2 Blood Moon here. This hand. All right, well, good. This is why we still play Gemstone. Easy keep Gemstone, getting rid of Chandra. We have the Eidolon on turn 1, the Blood Moon on turn 2, Rabble Master on turn 3. Yes, absolutely delicious. One of a kind. Shelldock for my opponent. Hideaway. I like this hideaway mechanic. It's nice. It's nifty. Oh, we have a braid when they try to get a talisman as well. Eidolon down. Go ahead, opponent. And may the pain begin. It's got to be a talisman. Has to be. There's the talisman. We're going to slam a Blood Moon here on turn 2. They want to Serum Vision so bad. Oh, they thought seize us. That's even better. Okay, so we're probably going to need to abrade here to abrade the talisman away so they can't get an inverter this next turn. So let's destroy the artifact and attack for 2. Thoughtseize was a good one there. It was painful, though. It was pretty painful. In for 2. Pass turn. Down to 11. If they play anything this turn, they'll be down to 9. Seachrome Coast. Okay. Serum Visions takes 2. Scrying. This scry is going to be big. I think we're going to be too fast for him. 2 cards to the bottom. Maze Mind's cute. Not what we want. Rabble Master, go, go, go. We hit him for 3. Puts them to 6. Presenting lethal. Presenting lethal. My opponent has no black, which is really good for us as well. Pretty happy with our turnout here. Looks like we're going to take this one down. Unless they have something tricksy. Path. Ooh, that'd be brutal. Did we get there? Did we get there? Faster attacks wins us this match. 1-1. It's pretty good. There's a combo list. So when they're not all mid-range, we've got some answers. Got even a Swift Spear in there. I like it. Match 3, up next. Currently 1-1 Chandra, Tribal, Red Prison, featuring a pivot to something aggressive. We could have had that game 1, match 1 too. The full match 1. Just didn't quite get there. I think we could just cut Regulator completely. My gut is telling me that, and play a Slagstorm. And maybe another Slagstorm main for one of the Chandra Acolytes. Maybe go down to 1 Chandra Acolyte to rebuy Bolt, Abrade, or Angers and Slagstorms. I believe it's 3 or less. Yes. And with that, opening up the sideboard a little bit more, maybe we need a few other pieces like Pithing Needles or something to go after the graveyard. Not a lot, though. Not a lot. Match 3 is coming up next. Let's keep this rolling. I'm feeling pretty good about this list. And we found our opponent. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's go. Do we get the play or the draw? It looks like we tied, and then they got the play. We both rolled 3s. All right, let's go ahead and keep this opening hand. I've got a removal spell on turn 0, which is pretty sweet, and anger, and then I've got a maze mine that actually is going to let me buy into searching for the cards I need. So I'm pretty happy with this. Gemstone, we're going to get rid of the... Let's just get rid of a mountain this time around. Not so heavy on the Blood Moon. Woo! How greedy do I want to get? I want to get super greedy. Oh, so greedy. Ooh, Maze Mine. Or Bridge. All right, we're going to do the Maze Mine tome here. We've got Elves. Elves has been showing up quite a bit. I'm surprised. That being said, we've got Lightning Bolt and we've got Anger of the Gods. I think we're well positioned against this opponent. A Realm Walker. Okay. Some nasty things. Let's take a look at the top of the library for us. I'm happy to bottom a land. There's plenty of times where we're going to find those. We're going to go ahead and check as well. We're not going to be drawing because I have this bridge. Ooh, another bridge is actually not a bad thing. I'm gonna bottom this though. All right, Acolyte is pretty nice here. Let's go ahead and clear. Pass turn. Gives them a little less mana here. I've got a Bolt, I've got a Bridge, I've got a Chandra rebuying Anger. Wouldn't be bad here as well. There's a Zuri. Perfect example of now I get to bolt this and maybe get to play like Chandra or something. Let's scry a land at the top. That's awkward, but like not, right? Bolt, play Chalice on 1. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. No one will expect this. Watch this. Opponent's gonna just, they're gonna freak out. Chalice on 1 after playing Bolt. Go ahead. Didn't see that one, did you? Ha! Elvish War Master. It's a 2/2. Let's do some more scrying here. Gain a little bit of life. Never wanted to draw with the Maze Mines. Just smoothing out our draws. I'll take a land. Oh, I will not take that. That's too expensive. Too expensive. All right, let's go ahead and play a Mind Stone here. That's fine. Pass the turn. We can take a hit here. I did just gain 4 life with our Maze Mine Tome. Maze Mine Tome's doing excellent thus far. Happy to have it in the list. Overgrown Tomb does not shock in here. Let's see if they have a 2 or a 3 drop. They have a Shaman of the Pact. We take, what is this? 3 damage, 4, 5, go to 19. Good stacking, opponent. Well done. 19 all. Bridge looking pretty hot here. Especially playing Bridge and then getting Anger off of Chandra to clear the board again. Things that I want to be doing. All right, we don't need this upkeep stop anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Nah. Let's just play a Bridge here and pass the turn. We can get close to emptying our hand out when I get to play Chandra and then get to play Acolyte. We'll play towards that. Opponent gets to attack for 3 here. Chalice, I imagine, is actually doing a lot of work here. A Bolt and Chalice list. Collected Company. Oh boy. One thing we could die to is a bunch of Shaman of the Packs. So we do want to get this Anger at some point. Woohoo! That's a lot of things. All right. There's an Abrade. Okay, so what do we have here? I can play this Chandra, which we will do. And we can uptick with the Abrade here. And we will Abrade one of the 2/2s. Actually, let's go ahead and deal 3 damage to one of the elves. This way they can only attack this for 3. We have an Acolyte here. An Acolyte down ticking to get Anger the Gods is definitely a thing we can do. You may cast a target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile. Peatland cycled here. I'd love to clear this out because more Shaman of the Pax is just a problem, especially with so many War Masters. 3 damage at me is where this should go, I think, but they might be afraid of Chandra, and they are. Nice. We're about to clear the board. Ready, set. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Elvish Archdruid showing up here. We do find our land. 1, 2, 3. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. Casting. Anger of the Gods. Oh my gosh, I didn't uptick. Cancel. No. We screwed up. We're okay. We're okay for a turn. We forgot to uptick. Bolts, no good. Oh, we've sequenced incorrectly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh gosh, we could go to 1. Oh gosh, if they had 2 Shaman of the Pax. We forgot to sequence the mana. Oh no. Realm Walker and another Elvish Archdruid. Alright, we're safe. Thank goodness. Well, maybe not. We'll see what this ends up doing to us. Dwynen's Elite. I just missed up the Chandra thing and they're flooding the board. I love it. I hope they have no way to get rid of this. Countered. Countered. Oh gosh, they're still doing things. War Master. Is something letting them draw? Oh, they can cast more. Yes, yes, yes. I understand now. This is so rude. This is so rude. I didn't deserve to draw that. We get a Maze Mind off the top. We'll happily play that. We can play the Anger out of hand then, and we should be good to go. All right. Whew. All right, we scooped. We got them to scoop. We really screwed that up. We need to plus before using Chandra. We'll make it work. All right. So, Abrades, Slag Storms here. I could see myself getting rid of actually the Seasoned Pyromancers for the most part. And let's bring a Swift Spear in. I don't know. I don't want to Seasoned Pyromancer because drawing 2 cards with Bridge could result in us actually losing the game. The one thing we could also look at is that Waken Inferno and Heart of Fire maybe shouldn't be in here. At the same time, I think if we're getting to about 5-6 mana, we'll be happy to top deck one of those. We're looking for these Anger Slag Storms and basically all the removal at the very beginning, though. Blast Zone's an excellent one here. We're going to go ahead and keep this. This looks like a reasonable hand, and Blood Moon's actually pretty potent to a elf player. Let's see if we can make it work here. Match 3, game number 2, up a game against the little green people. Did they, they did. They were mulliganing to Oblivion. We win. We were gonna draw another Blood Moon, another Blood Moon. Oh, maybe it's good they conceded. We were never gonna find another land. Well, there you go. Match 3, out of frustration, my opponent concedes. We'll see you in match 4. Well, that was a quick match 3. We've had that happen a few times already. People conceding after mulliganing to Oblivion. We are currently 2-1 with Chandra, Tribal, Red Prison, with a pivot to an aggro, Punisher style, red, aggressive, secondary plan. Whatever you want to call it. Let's find our match opponent. Match number 4 coming up. Playing this. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's do it. Let's do it. Match 4 here. We get the draw. I think I want to keep this. Put Gemstone into play. Say okay, get rid of Seasoned Pyromancer. Turn to Mindstone or Maze Mind Tome here, looks fine. And work our way up to the Chandra, Heart of Fire. A snow-covered mountain here. I think I want to go ahead and get a... Let's do the Maze Mind Tome. We're not doing a whole lot here on turn number 2 here, so let's just make it so I can look for answers. What are they? Let's go ahead and scry. Looking for a land. I'm gonna bottom this. We're gonna take our natural draw here. Nice. Let's go ahead and play a Maze Mind Tome. I could follow this with a Chalice on 1. I'm kind of wondering if I should have a Chalice on 2, though. Have resolves. Or I could draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do a Chalice on 1 here because I have Chandra, Heart of Fire, as my next spell. This appears to be hitting a mana leak or other counter spell. A Remand. Okay. Remand, huh? Alright, I want to hit a land here so I can probably bridge Chalice. Opponent thinks about playing something in the main phase, choosing not to. Let's scry. Looking for a land again. I'm going to bottom this one, and on my turn, I'm going to stop on upkeep to do one more scry here. Smoothing out our draws here is super important, in my opinion. We'll bottom Chandra, Acolyte of Flame as well. We do hit our land. So let's go ahead and try for that Chalice on 1 once more. Bolts me. Okay, bolt. Chalice resolves. I'm going to go ahead and play Bridge because I don't feel like Storm anymore. Having the Bridge in play feels really good in case they are a Through the Breach list. We got the Chalice down as well, so that's all working out for us. There's a Jace. They go up here on themselves. This is interesting because I have a Chandra that can start attacking this Jace. Let's not take a scry this time. Oh, look, it's another one. I wonder if I'm supposed to keep this in check. Let's go ahead and try for it. Let's do 2 damage here. We could also do another 2 here. This Chalice stops us from bolting it, but that might be okay. Opponent's got a bunch of islands now. They decide to draw 3 cards and put some cards back. So we have counters, probably. 5 mana. Time Warps. Well, I'm going to go ahead and scry here. Put this on bottom. I suppose you could make an argument I should be waiting to do Jace here, but it looks like my opponent's some sort of Time Warp deck here. We'll see if they can make it work. They're going after themselves as well on these Fate Seals. The Jace is pretty much out of range for my Chandras now. They have a Narset here, using Narset as well. They find an Exhaustion. Ooh, nifty. Alright, so we'll just apparently draw a Blood Moon. I don't know if I want them digging with this Narset. Let's go ahead and ping the Narset here and pass the turn. So we have a turns list. This will be really good for our aggro play. What we're doing right now probably won't win this game, unfortunately. The Chalice on 1 is probably stopping bolts and ops, which is super nice, but they can just use Jace a whole bunch and then eventually just flip our library and make us pretty much lose the game. We'll see. Maybe we just need to keep the Jace in check here. We can always abrade our Chalice with the Chandra emblem and then bolt them a whole bunch too. This is a line we could take. All right, we have another bridge. I don't feel like that's the right play here. Let's go ahead and deal 2 damage to Jace and play maybe a Blood Moon here. Knocks them off of a 1 island here. It does stop us from doing Scavenger Grounds, but I don't think they're going to get anything from the graveyard. We'll pass back. I need to keep Jace a little bit in check here and try to get to this ult. The ult here is what I want to be doing. A Cryptic Command is rough, though. Returns Chandra and draws a card. All right. Maybe a little surprised they didn't counter and bounce, but they were choosing to draw instead. Probably trying to find a way to work out another Time Warp effect. Jace does its Jace things. Brainstorms here. Snapcaster into Time Warp is a play. And that is what they're going to do this turn. This is where Scavenger Grounds would have worked nicely. We'll keep that in mind. We'll probably get rid of Blood Moons going forward. Might keep most of my Planeswalkers. I don't know. Maybe they'll time walk us all the way out here. They're a little bit locked in terms of they won't fetch, which is sort of nice. So we're going to just attack us with a Snapcaster and exhaustion us. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's basically a time walk for us. We only have 2 mana available. Opponent attacks us for 2, puts us to 16. Looks like we're going to get the turn back. We do. And we're just going to have to pass. Go ahead, opponent. Counter spells are a little bit like a time walk here as well for our opponent. My opponent attempts what appears to be an Archmage Charm, but they can't do that anyway because they have the mountain. So I'm not sure why they were trying that anyway. Opponent goes up here looking at our library now. This is a bad sign. They do put a card on the bottom. Attacks me for 4, puts me to 12. All right, we'll take our draw here. We get a Seasoned Pyromancer. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and something else. Let's do Seasoned Pyromancer, attempt to resolve this, getting rid of Bridge and a Chandra, and making some tokens. Oh, it resolves. Okay. Oh, that's right. There's an Narset here. Well, this is fine. I'm still pretty happy with the elementals. Dictate here is a good card for them. So we're going to draw additional card, but we don't actually do that due to Narset. Be good to get rid of this Narset. My opponent goes up, checking the top of our library, puts the card on top. Now they can just defend if they wanted to, which looks like what they want to do. We'll take our draw. We do not draw another card due to Narset. I would like to get rid of this Jace, or at least hit it for 1. Let's attempt to hit it with our Seasoned Pyromancer and Elementals. And then if we do get that opportunity to resolve potentially a Chandra Heart of Fire, I can ping off the Narset for the future. All this trades out here. And I think I want to go ahead and try Chandra Heart and see if they have a counter spell. They do have a Remand. That works really nicely for them. Okay. We do have an Elemental blocker. Let's see if that matters here. Plays a land. This has been an interesting turn of events. My opponent time warps here. With Jace now, they can basically use Jace to exile, and they should be good to go. From here, I think I'm going to concede if they do that. All right, we don't want them to see everything. Concede. All right, so we know what we need to beat. we need to beat a time warping deck. This shouldn't be too bad though. We're gonna get rid of Bridges and Blood Moons here. We're gonna bring in Swift Spears, Eidolons. Let's start there. We're gonna get rid of Regulator to win more in this case. We're gonna bring in Rabble Masters. I can get rid of Anger the Gods here. Probably Awakened Inferno is not good enough. I'm gonna take out a Chalice though instead. If we get an Awakened Inferno and we actually end up getting to use one, when they take all their turns, it could kill them. So we'll leave that. A lot of aggression here, even getting rid of the Angers, not replacing them with Slag Storms. Let's bash our opponent in. Let's find lands first. Let's mulligan. All right. This isn't aggressive at all. Let's mulligan looking for an aggressive hand. Here we go. All right, keep. Get rid of both Chandras here. We're gonna just line up a Eidolon, line it up next with the Rabble Master and go from there. Got a little unlucky with our mulligans, but sometimes that's just what's gonna happen. Opponent plays a basic island and gives us the turn back. We're going to, oh, what? Okay, they tap down my mountain here. It's an interesting play, Giga Drowsing us. We don't get to play the Eidolon, we'll just pass back. I'm guessing that was worth a time walk of one turn for them. Got an island and a snow-covered mountain. I have a feeling we have something like a bolt or remand. We'll attempt Rabble Master though. Resolves. And they do let us go get our token. We'll attack for our 1, pass turn. Steam Vents. Shocks in. Bolts the token. Okay. Lands. We'll go ahead and play a Chandra and follow it with an Eidolon. This is probably a remand by them. It is. All right. We can't play Eidolon, so there's no real reason to play around that like that. My opponent finds a Temporal Mastery. Pretty good for them. They get a Time Walk turn here. Basically a ramp spell for most part. Time Walk here. Did not find their land. 3 mana exhaustions us. Another Time Walk here. We'll just pass the turn. Can't really do anything since we're tapped out. Will they find their 4th land? They do not. All right, let's go ahead and try Eidolon first, followed by Seasoned Pyromancer. We need some creatures out on the battlefield. That one resolved. Let's try this one. Plays a Dictate. Okay. They're going to need to draw their lands, that's for sure. All right, we find ourselves another Seasoned Pyromancer and a Maze Mind Tome. Opponent dictates. Draws 2 cards. Does not find their next land, it appears. We get to draw 2 cards. All right, let's attack with the team here. We'll then Chandra and Seasoned Pyromancer, and I think that should be enough. There's a Snapcaster. One to tap, sacrifice itself. Doing this so I can play a Seasoned Pyromancer and they just have to chump block. They'll probably chump block the Eidolon. This gets in the same amount of damage but retains the number of creatures I have for the future. And then we get to load up a Seasoned Pyromancer and we also have Ramming Out Ruins as damage. So we're presenting lethal. My opponent needs to find that land. Oh, we're presenting Mega lethal. Will they find the time walks that they need? They do find their land. What does 4 mana buy you, though? It's not even cryptic mana. Is it not enough? 2 mana. 3, 4. Jace. Bounce. We're presenting lethal if they don't bounce. They don't know it, but we still have lethal. They check the top of their library. And we win. We'll draw our pair of cards here. We'll attack them as well. And we can just fire off the ruins. We don't need to worry about trying to win through like a force of negation here. There's no reason to do that and risk it. So there you go. All right, we get game number 2 here. We got to go to game 3 and beat them. This will be interesting. They did stumble a little bit with those lands. Kind of makes me want Blood Moons in here instead of Chalices. Just because they seem to be struggling with that. Maybe I want the Maze Mind Tomes out because those aren't aggressive and play the Chalices. I mean, I brought in a lot of 1-drops. I don't want to really shut off my own 1-drops. Let's just leave the Maze Mind Tomes in. Let's not get fancy here. Let's not get fancy. 2 Blood Moons in for 2 Chalices. Run it back. All right, this hand is not aggressive. We're gonna mulligan this. We need something like on turn 1, 2. This is also not very aggressive. All right, I'll keep. I'm not happy to keep this, but I don't want to keep mulliganing down. At least I've got something here, and maybe Blood Moon will be useful. Maybe. We'll find out. We may lead with Seasoned Pyromancer here just to generate some tokens. Blood Moon's looking okay right now. It's looking okay. We'll see if they tap out for, say, a Narset here and I get a Blood Moon. There's 1 island. Not the scariest thing. We're going to try Seasoned Pyromancer. I need to find different cards than what I have. I'm expecting it counter regardless. Remand. Cool. The other thing that could happen here, because I've tapped out, is they could have Exhaustion. The Steam Vents. Let's try Seasoned Pyromancer one more time here. Expecting like counters. Counter draw. Counter draw. All right. Yeah, this is where if we would have gotten a 1-drop or 2-drop down, we'd be in better shape here. We'll see, though. We'll see. This looks like Narset, possibly. It is Narset. Blood Moon's looking tempting here. Maybe Chandra Blood Moon? Man, this Chandra Blood Moon plays into Spell Snare. Or not Spell Snare, Spell Pierce. Or if I just jam a Blood Moon here, we avoid that. Let's go all the way. Show me that Spell Pierce. I have no words. I have no words. I called it. I knew what they were going to play. Puts a Cryptic Command into hand. That's not good for us. Not good. 3 mana, plays an Exhaustion here. We'll pass the turn. They time walk us briefly. Ops here at the end step, it looks like. Game's a little bit different. Oh, Giga Drowse is here. Okay. Okay. I need them to miss a land here, probably. Looks like they might, yeah, they do Exhaustion one more time here, and bolts me. Play our land, pass the turn. We're going to be able to play whatever after this. Need to miss a land one more. They hit their land. We have Cryptic and Dragonclaw in their hand. Snapcaster, Exhaustion here. When they play Exhaustion here, I do get to Blood Moon them, which is what I'll probably go ahead and do. Gonna Blood Moon over this Bolt. Blood Moon makes it so the Cryptic's no good. We have a Dragonclaw and we have one unknown card. The more blue they have, the better. They did find an extra island here, so they have Cryptic Dragonclaw available. They Dragonclaw. All right, so we have a Cryptic command to beat. I think we can beat that. Okay, so how do we want to sequence this? We got a Seasoned Pyromancer. We have 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 mana here. Let's start with a Rabblemaster. This would let me get rid of Narset. Let's go ahead and try to get rid of Narset here. I can't imagine they use Cryptic to bounce a token. They might, though. Bounce and draw here. Let's go ahead and now Bolt. And probably just play another Rabblemaster here, honestly. And we'll worry about the Seasoned Pyromancer next turn. This way we generate a ton of tokens. We play this sequence so that they don't Cryptic command the second Rabblemaster. Looks like my opponent might attack. They don't. All right. Ooh. Yeah, I'll rush this little dude out. They got the Cryptic, fine. Now I'm okay with it. I'm gonna smash your face with some goblins. Look at these goblins. All goblins are in. Cryptic tap. Dictate. Oh, you're just... I just smash you with damage. I'm assuming we're going to chump block here. I'm gonna play the Seasoned Pyromancer out. Draw some cards here. My opponent's going to need a good string of things happening. I don't think we have to worry about an Anger the Gods. We'll find out. 2 bolts would be funny here. All right, I'm not going to overcommit. I shouldn't overcommit here. Dictate. Draw some cards here. Do you find the spells you need? Exhaustions us. That is okay. We actually can win from here. Mind Stone plus draw. It's an Awakened Inferno. They're dead. They're gonna be dead so fast. Oh, we forget to attack for 2. Dang it. 6, 7, 8. Should be 8. I don't think it's gonna matter too much here. We'll play the Mind Stone and pass the turn. I think we'll be okay. I don't think 2 damage is going to matter here. I think just the swath of goblins will be the thing that matters. Lightning bolts a Rabblemaster. You got it. They are gaining life by doing this. It's big. It's big. Is that enough? What else? What else? You have a Cryptic command to tap the team. You're going to tap the team. Tap, tap, tap. Feels like a potential tap kind of turn. Let's go ahead and draw our cards here. Oh my gosh. Go to combat. Swing with everything. And win. There you go. Woo! What goblins. This is a tough match. Blood Moon working out probably well for us, preventing maybe multiple Cryptics, snap Cryptics, stuff like that. We get there. Is that a 3-1? It's a 3-1. We'll see you in match 4. Can we round this one out with a 4-1? Chandra, Tribal Prison. with a pivot in Modern. Final match here. Match number 5. Currently 3-1 with a deck that does pivot. And it's working out nicely for us. Let's see what our final opponent is playing. And let's see if we can finish with that solid 4-1 with Chandra. There we go. Final match. Pretty excited. I think we can get this going. Let's do it. We get to play first as well. Love it. And we'll keep. Maze Mind Tome's been smoothing out the draws real nicely for us this league. Let's lean on it again. Let's see it do it. Got this Abrade for removal, and we can get our way up into a Chandra. Looks like we're against a blue-white list again. Get kind of tired of seeing them. All right, Maze Mind Tome, go. See if it truly is blue and white. It is Hallowed Fountain. And a Spell Snare. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're probably going to boot up this Seasoned Pyromancer next. See if they've got another counter for us. All right. I think I still want to do Seasoned Pyromancer, getting rid of Abrade and Chandra here. See if they have a counter. If not, got some creatures on the battlefield. That's always good for us. We can leave ourselves with a Blood Moon in the future. Excellent. All right. Don't particularly like the anger, but I do like the land here. Maybe my opponent will continue to fetch non-basics. After all, how greedy do they want to be? Super greedy. Ooh, Bant. Hallowed Fountain. Oh, yes. Yes. Play something. What is this? Skyclave. Haha. Blood Moon's looking excellent here. We are going to go ahead and try to get the Blood Moon in. Hopefully no Force of Negation. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Blood Moon. Does it resolve? Resolves. Get out of the way, Skyclave. I've got 2 elementals that need to party. In for 2 past turn. Feels good. Surprise Blood Moon. That's what we are as Red Prison now. All right. Skyclave, Spell Snare. Looks a little bit tempo. We've got these Hallowed Fountains. We've got a green splash in there. Wondering if it's maybe some version of Spirits. This is going to be a tough one. I'm afraid to take Bridges out because they could be some sort of Spirit build. Although they didn't really do stuff on turn 1 and turn 2. I'm going to take Chalices out. I'm going to take Mind Stones, gonna take Chandra, gonna take Little Chandra here. I'm gonna bring in Swift Spears to be aggressive, and I'm actually gonna bring in the Rabble Masters. Let's go ahead and bring Slag Storms in as well, and I'm gonna cut 1 Bridge and 1 Chandra. What we're doing is we're mishmashing things because I'm not totally convinced that they're blue-white control. I think they could be some hybrid with Spirits. Especially seeing the green, that to me screams Collected Company with Spirits. So we'll have a few bridges here, plenty of Angers and Slag Storms to deal with creatures. I'm going to, I think I'm going to get this Abrade in over a Regulator as well. And I think Maze Mind Tome's fine. They were willing to go ahead and counter that, so I want to keep the Maze Mind here. Blend it a little bit. Gonna feel a little bit like a really old Pyro Prison with Eidolons and Rabble Masters main. Let's see what happens. Let's make it happen. I like this hand. Let's keep this. Keep this, ditch a Maze Mind Tome to the Gemstone. Plays Maze Mind Tome out, possibly. Try to find that, that Blood Moon mana. That could work. That could work. Flooded Strand for our opponents. Let's go ahead and see if we can land a Maze Mind Tome to start things off and pass the turn. Do you have another Spell Snare? The answer is no. Prismatic Vista. We're interested in something here. I want to try this Yield until here. Basic. There's a Stoneforge Mystic. All right, I'm glad I brought the Abrades. Let's bottom this. I need that 3rd land. Probably just going to try to Blood Moon. Batterskull? Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay. Scry here looking for our land. We missed both Double Season Pyromancer and land. Nope. All right. Well, we can play a Swift Spear out and pass the turn. Not the greatest. Probably could have attacked in there. They don't know if I have a bolt or not. Let's go ahead and scry again here. Not a land. Bottom. All right, we do find the land finally. Let's go ahead and play a Blood Moon down and pass turn. We can attack probably as well for 2. They're gonna just play the sword in, I imagine. Oh, they play a Batter Skull. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. They got us. They got us with the germ. Attacks for 5 here, gains for 26 to 15. We'll take our scry here. We gained 4 of that back. Looking for a land for this Chandra. Blood Moon's definitely not it. Bottom. Top of the library is a Blast Zone. That'll work. Let's see if Chandra number 1 resolves. If so, we get the germ away. If not, no problems. Okay. Attacks for another 5 here. Oh. We're hesitating with the Stoneforge Mystic. Looks like we want to do Feast. Sort of Feast and Famine here. All right. Well, we're going to try Chandra again and to try to kill the germ. Looks like we will get that lucky here. Go ahead and kill the germ here. They'll play the sword, attach the sword, do that thing with the Stoneforge Mystic. We do lose both Chandras playing through like we have. That's all right. We do have ways to lock my opponent out. We want them interested in Chandra. They won't untap and get to bounce like Batter Skull if they do attack our Chandra. So this gives us a turn where they'll probably be lights down. Ooh, hold up. They're attacking us. Makes us discard. I see. We get an activation with Chandra unless they have Celestial Purge. Uh-oh. I need to shut my mouth. I need to shut my mouth. All right, no bother. We find bridge off the top like a champion that we are sometimes. Do you have a force? Ah, they have force too. They're doing everything with this 2 mana. It's crazy. They do find a land. This means they can bounce Batter Skull. Opponent attacks for 3 here. Puts us to 9. We discard. They untap. I probably would have bounced the Batter Skull there. Play our land because we know it's going to be discarded here. Go ahead, opponent. Spell Queller? Okay, returns Batter Skull now. Fair enough. I think I would have done it when they had the untap with the Sword of Feast and Famine, but that's just me. Opponent attacks for 3, puts us to 6 here. I assume they've got some sort of counter spell over there. We discard. My opponent now floats mana. Okay. Floats up to 6. That's a lot. We have a shark. We have a shark. So we need a bridge. We need another bridge. We don't find it. All right, we're going to game 3. Game 3. Kind of like how we sideboarded. Want this bridge back in. Want the Chandra probably back in. I don't know if Swift Spear makes much sense here. Maybe cut a pair of Swift Spears here. And 1 Anger. We don't need as many. Let's bring Swift Spear back and bring 1 Anger out. Let's still be aggressive because we're on the play here. But I'm going to keep my Abrades. We're going to keep actually more Planeswalkers and work our way up to that. We got the removal for the Stoneforge. Feeling pretty decent. Let's keep the opener. Swing with the Swift Spear. I'm nervous. I don't do this. Let's go, Swifty. Let's go. Attack for 1, pass turn. Got a nice Maze Mind Tome. We can work our way into the Seasoned Pyromancer. Flooded Strand for our opponent. Top of the library is a good ramming out ruins. I like this. We'll get a prowess trigger, Maze Mine Tome, attack for 2. Or are they going to spell snare this one? They've spell snared before. They have spell snared before. It'd be funny if they path here. Okay, just a glacial floodplain. We'll attack for our 2 pass turn. Surprised they didn't get a non-basic. Or sorry, a basic. No, that is a non-basic. Let's go ahead and scry. Let's put in an upkeep stop for us. Scry one more time here. Just trying to get something interesting for this Seasoned Pyromancer. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and attack and then use Seasoned Pyromancer. Did she maybe both bridges? After all, my opponent hasn't played a creature. Maybe worth it just to get rid of bridges and try to attack them here. This is probably getting mana leaked or countered in some way. An Ice Fang. An Ice Fang. Oh, okay. Now I sort of want the bridges, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to need them. Let's get rid of 2 bridges here. Nice. All right. We got some life gain from the Maze Mine Tome. We make more elementals. We got a Chandra coming up here. If my opponent tries to do anything during the turn, we're good. They just go straight to cleanup. It's probably not good for them. I'll take my Scry here, see what else I've got coming. Extra Swift Spear actually doesn't look too bad. Let's just do that for the turn. Play Swift Spear, play a Maze Mine Tome, swing with the team. This isn't even killing us. It's not Death Touch. I guess they could make a Death Touch here with another Ice Fang. Oh well. Swing! Here comes Death Toucher number 2 here. So we're going to do a little bit of trading. That's fine with me. They'll take away 2 X2, or probably the 2-3 and the 2-3, and take 4 down the middle. We do get to clear these though, so that's kind of nice. Let's try this yield until this part of this. Yield until here. Oh, it's marked out. Never mind. I can't do that. Dang it. Basic island here. What do we got? All right, on thin ice. Gets rid of, say, a Seasoned Pyromancer here. Okay. We'll do some scries here. Let's bottom a land here. Let's go ahead and scry again. Bottom a land. I'm going to take the draw here because if this Chandra resolves, we get to Chandra and then maybe use Maze Mine Tome to draw a card. Mana leaks us. Okay. We'll attack for 2, pass turn. Wonder if I take a double draw just to get really far ahead of my opponent versus scries this coming turn. I think I do. We're going to attack for 2 here and then take probably a double draw. My opponent's at 7, so this feels like a perfectly appropriate way to work this turn. If they go to create a blocker here, I might just abrade the blocker. Exactly. So Shark comes down here. Before they draw, let's go ahead and deal 3 damage to this, trying to get our 2 damage across. Keeping in mind we have 2 damage here as well, so every little bit's going to matter here. I'm going to take a draw. Could hit a bolt. Oh, we hit a bolt. Just bolt them here. Hit for 2. We have the ruins. Oh, damage, damage, damage. They can't crack Prismatic Vista unless they want to end the game. 2 elementals, 1 ruins here. It's looking really good. There we go. 4-1 Chandra Tribal with a pivot in Modern. We'll see you in the conclusion. Chandra Tribal rarely lets us down. That is a 4-1 and probably a winnable match number 1. Let's take a look at the list. So we've adapted Chandra Primal to have not as much of a Simian Spirit Guide ritual presence. And the reason that I've actually taken this list and started to meld this a little bit is because it actually didn't want to necessarily put a Blood Moon out so quickly. Now, it did have 4 Simian Spirit Guides, but it only had actually 2 rituals. And we've replaced the 2 rituals with 2 Mind Stones. At that point, we're only replacing 4 cards and we're already doing a ton of damage through our Planeswalkers. Why not bring in the bolts? Now I know. Chalice of the Void plus Bolt. What are you doing, Fluffy? Well, it actually kind of worked. Now, we've been known to do this occasionally. See our Glorybringer and Ensnaring Bridge days, where people thought we were crazy there, and we'll continue to look crazy here. Now, some of you may be going, well, just play Burn, just do that. The idea here is that if you're running into mid-range or things that are gaining life, or maybe tempo, this potentially might be enough to confuse them between matches, but also give you a leg up on some of those matches where Prison would be better than Burn. Does it work? Well, the results speak for themselves for now. We'll have to play it again and see if we get similar results. This is Chandra, Red Prison, with a pivot to Burn. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, consider liking, subscribing, and maybe leaving a comment. As always, take care, everyone. See us on Twitch. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And until next time, we'll see you in the next matches.